Is it running? Yeah, I think it's running. I think it's just me being paranoid. Alright. Where have we left off? This thing kind of looks a lot more pink. Let's check in the death screens. Nice. Let me actually shoot a quick video so I could send it off. So I'm gonna mute the mic for a second. Well, that was terrible. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, I'm gonna have to do like a proper recording for this. Ooh. Oh, Jesus. Come on. Maybe I should add the additive blending mode for the saw glow. Although this current kind of dynamic effect also looks pretty interesting. No! Jesus. Okay, I'm not gonna rush it. Come on. There we go. MVP Raptor is a new subscriber. Gee. Oh, it is you. It's the person watching me right now. I'm like, I have one viewer. Welcome to the live stream, man. I'm just finishing up the last set of levels. This is a brutal level. Okay, hold on. I just recorded this video real quick. I just want to quickly upload it so I could post it in one of the forums. Oh man, can't wait to write the music for this. This is gonna be interesting. Electronic dance music, drum and bass, all the good stuff. Let's see, where's my network drive? Let me actually also take a sip of my tea before that gets cold. So, MVP Raptor, how did you find the stream? YouTube, or was it someplace I posted about it? Your tag, stream temp folder. Maybe this one. Discord. Ah, okay, yeah. So I have. That's exactly where I'm posting this video. Oh, man. So what are you working on? Yeah, it's pretty much the only forum I'm really in actively. It's a nice group. It started as Tig's Network on Skype, right? And then it kind of transformed into this off-site forum. Man, Discord is really neat that way. It's really cool. Okay, here we go. So this is update clip 06. So this needs to be update clip 07. I'm gonna make this public. Oof, so much work. Mostly just a tech demo and planning. I see. So nothing that's in the public eye, so to speak. Music will definitely make it immersive. Absolutely. I have some music that I wrote for it. Let's see. There's all kinds of different genres that I want to use for this particular game. Varying from atmospheric, ambient, to electronic dance music, drum and bass, and touching up on like orchestral stuff, and even doing a little bit of rock, electronic guitars and stuff. You know, a little bit of everything, so to speak. Is my server PC online? Yes, it is. Okay, let's see. So soundtracks, RTAC Rise. Okay. So this is one of the more poppy sounds, so to speak, when it's earlier in the stage, when, you know, it's kind of non-serious, the story is kind of light, it's just getting into the, you know, the exciting stuff. So okay, that was just stupid. Now imagine doing that with your friends. 4-player co-op. There's just another stupid level that's just dicks around with the players. Let's see, it's like level. This one. So these are the only levels that I have left that I still have yet to decorate and put the lighting in, and you know. Exactly, referencing nothing in the public eye. Oh, I don't mind. You know. We have a very specific story. We have a very specific. Okay, I should probably lower down the microphone or the music. We have a very specific story with this game. It's we have a YouTube channel called Retroactive Gamers. It's a dead channel, nobody knows about it, but we store our gameplay footage that Tim and I, my friend and I, play, just for the keepsake and kind of memory sake. And just, you know, dick around, make some funny videos. So we were trying to do a Let's Play of Super Meat Boy when, you know, that was a thing. And at some point, both of us thought, what would it be like if Super Meat Boy had co-op? That never came, so at some point, like, I was already kind of experimenting with game dev at that point, so I went, fuck it, I'll make my own Super Meat Boy. Sort of esque. I'll make my own game with blackjack and hookers. So, flash forward, I think 3 years later, I've been working on the game on and off. And, yeah, we're kind of... Oh, God. We're kind of getting close to, having a functioning demo. And with the demo... With the demo, I essentially am also going to be publishing the Act 1, or kind of like Season 1 for the game. So we're not going to be publishing the entire game at once. That is a little bit difficult. And the story is pretty big. So it would take me alone quite a lot of time to do it myself. I'd rather probably publish Act 1 and, you know, get some early access funds so I could hire somebody who can do proper fucking artwork for this game. Oh, God. Don't kill me. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, this game, man. And my friend Tim, he helps me to develop this game. Consider this is kind of our game. We even play... There's multiple sets of protagonists that you can play as. And we have our own characters that we voice over. So, just for the sake of, you know, going, yeah, we played characters. So, he does half of the levels, and I do half of the levels. And... this way we get to still enjoy the game together, right? So there's like a whole bunch of levels that I can decorate. I know they exist. This is my level. This is the level I just did. This is an annoying level. Ugh. Okay. Let's see, what else is there? Like, I have some of these more docile levels, so to speak. So these are decorated. They're not as fast paced. And there's gonna be levels that are 4-player co-op enabled. So like these are non-canon, so to speak, levels. These are levels that are side quests. Like kind of like in Portal, right? Portal, you have a single player mode and you have the co-op, but you can only play with co-op. So there's levels that you can only pass if you play co-op with them, right? And I've been kind of implementing various mechanics that we haven't even used in any of these demo levels. That, like for example, switches. Well, okay, I've used a couple of switches, but switches that your switch will control stuff for another player. Oh no, fuck you. Man, these saws, these surprise saws are just the worst troll tools that we have in our arsenal. Like half of these levels are just there to dick around with the players. Like, look at that. 2 of these saws, they look exactly the same. Come on. Oh. Ah. Here, this is another soundtrack. This is one of the more upbeat soundtracks. Actually, not season paths. So there's a global story. It's divided into 5 seasons. Each season has basically a zone and a problem and a story arc of its own that concludes itself within within the season itself, and it progresses the global story forward. Now, these stories are going to be delivered as updates, not as like season pass type of deal, because for as long, this is the kind of game where you can actually expand on the world and add new levels and add new quests, and like with pretty much most of the games out there. But in this case, just so much work has already gone into creating all of these tools, all of these hazards and obstacles, so you can just keep making new levels and keep making new stories until you really there's kind of no sense in expanding on anything. You just kind of exhaust all possible story arcs, which is kind of a hard thing to do unless you just lack creativity. But as long as we're updating the game with new stories, new levels, and updates, we're going to be keeping the game on just at the same like $20 price tag. And we're not going to be participating in any of the sales, like winter special sales, summer sales, that kind of stuff. So definitely not season pass. We are not that ballsy yet. But definitely no sense in... Oh, God. Oof. Okay, come on. This never happens. First try. This never happens. Come on, please. Please let me live. Oh, God. Jesus. Ah. Okay, so this is kind of a loop, and we're back to this level. So here, let me find another challenging level. This is not okay. Half of these levels I don't want to play because these are not my levels, and I don't want to play them until we get together again with Tim and play it. Because likewise, he hasn't played any of my levels. This one's pretty fun. What's this one here? Oh, let's see this level. Okay. Then I have this level, this soundtrack here. Anyways, yeah, it's quite a project. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh well. Haven't even played this level yet. Right now, on my plate are basically these action levels that I have to finish up for the demo. And after the demo's done, we can go on and start working on the core game. That'll be fun. Main story. All that stuff. Man, I've actually gotten so much progress done. Here, let me put up one of the more ambient soundtracks for this, because this is an ambient level. I need to go around the levels and fix up these light sprites because they're not supposed to be flashing. I've realized that in Game Maker Studio 2 you can select the frame of which frame of a graphics asset or sprite you want to have displayed. So I can have just one single sprite containing my off light and my on light. And I don't have to make them as a separate flashlight or a separate sprite instances. Handy. So I'll just have to go through the levels and touch that stuff up. They're not supposed to be flashing. So much work, man. We're getting some progress done. I'm mostly doing the development, programming, music, asset creation, art, and like that. And considering that my friend, he's not a game developer, But even the process of creating levels is better because it's not just one single creative mind, and it's a little bit harder to exhaust the resources, so to speak, and just end up making levels that just feel stale. Even when I was showing off some of the levels that I made recently, he suggested a couple of things that were just absolutely genius additions. Like for this level, he's basically said to add slip blocks here. So these are blocks that the players cannot jump off of, so that they wouldn't just hog this side of the line and jump over there. They'd have to time it from here, which actually worked out even better. So this is kind of, beneficial. Beneficial to us. No! Hey, Gizmo! The delay wouldn't really actually depend on your internet connection. Or it's always going to be kind of the same, more or less. That's just live streaming, the time it takes for me to see your comments, say what I have to say, the computer to record it, send it over, encode it, decode it, blah blah blah, Oh god. Oh no. Oh no way. Oh wow. Okay, so that's a thing. I totally forgot to disable that. Oof. You can totally make that in one breath. Oof. Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that. No. Why did I stop? Oh god. Just give up. I see. So maybe it does depend on the destination. Ooh. Come on, you can do this. Oh wow, I actually made that. Yep, that's exactly what the slip block is there for. So you wouldn't be able to jump off of it. And be a lazy ass and hog that side of the wall. Come on, I can do this. I've passed this level. I made you. You were nothing before me. Oh god. Come on. Oof. Ah. There we go. Oh god, no. Oh no, it's this level. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. Oh man. Okay, what is this? Blocks. Which room is this in? Right, okay, so it's after this one. Install GameMaker Studio 2? Wait, you have Studio 2? I didn't know you had Studio 2. That's awesome. When'd you get it? Man, Studio 2 is such an improvement. Half of these levels are old levels from, like, Legacy GameMaker project. Collision blocks, because I'm not using those anymore. Oh, it might be the demo. It could be the demo of GameMaker Studio 2. Because Studio 2 is not like an upgrade, but even then, you can still use it to learn, and you can even use it to make a basic game, or at least start making a game. And you know, if this game actually turns out well, people like it, you can totally get funding and get yourself GameMaker Studio 2. I think the free version can be just downloaded off of the page there. Gotta delete all of these block levels because I actually moved on to an automated system. creating the collision blocks. Makes it a lot easier now. Yeah, the full version of Studio 2 is about 120. But I'm talking like Canadian dollars, so Canadian rupees get a bit of an extra boost, so to speak. About $100, like 99 bucks US. Okay, as long as I'm here, I gotta fix a bunch of things here. First of all, get rid of all of these blocks. No. There we go. Then I actually, oh god, need to go through each and every one of these things. And set the frames. Kind of want to get a little bit of progress done today. Work was absolutely exhausting. Another thing that I have to do now is I have to fix all of these things, all of these decals, mainly because I've offset the pivot points for most of these in order to get them to rotate properly and just make it easier on myself to create these levels. And unfortunately, as a result, some of the levels got messed up a little bit, but that is understandable. I knew this was gonna happen. This was totally not a surprise. This is just a part of the job. At least now I'm going to be able to do this a lot easier. To be honest, what you're probably learning right now is just the user interface. Like, where is every feature located in the program? Which is really like... it's really the simplest stuff. But if you were experimenting with code with 1.4, most, like I'd say, about 95% of the stuff still applies in Studio 2. There's realistically only a handful of functions that have really changed, and they haven't even changed all that much, realistically. Okay, let's see. Do I have any lights here? No. I think. Do I have any lights here? No, I don't. Here? Nope. And nope, not in here. I do have to fix these things though. This is one of the earliest soundtracks for this. This was kind of the drum and bass experiment for like one of the tougher levels. Etc. etc. It's a loop. Gizmo, if you can't find anything, just ask us on the during the live stream. You know, if you happen to be around when I'm around. Fix these things, gotta fix all this other stuff. One. Can still get some progress done today. Nothing over there. And I do need a thing over here. Good question. Now, Yo-Yo developers, they are saying that they're going to be putting a lot of work into the built-in sprite editor. So, realistically, it depends on what kind of a game you're making. I can't see myself making larger sprites that are not pixel graphics based in Photoshop, in GameMaker's built-in graphics editor. I can't see myself painting backgrounds, right? Like, I have a couple of backgrounds that are just grayscale, black and white. These backgrounds are for the ambient levels. And I simply can't see myself painting something like this, you know, in the sprite editor. It's just not equipped with the tools that I need. But that's because my game asks for these types of backgrounds, right? These types of backgrounds. Where Photoshop is kind of already equipped with the tool set needed to make these backgrounds. If you're working on a pixelated game, or if you're working like in a game jam, you're probably gonna be using the built-in sprite editor for the sake of saving time. And you know, most of the time when you do a game jam game, you're really not going to be doing highly detailed sprites either way. So you know, it's really up to you and up to the kind of game that you're making. Okay, so I think I fixed most of the lights in there. I gotta kind of do these lights now. There's another light up there. There's another one over here. 0, 1. It's kind of top-down shooter. Yeah. Well, once again, are you gonna go with something that's not as like very clearly pixelated, or are you gonna go with something like really pixel art-ish? That's, you know, it's a style of the game, not really the genre of the game that you're gonna go for. Because a top-down shooter can either be like Doom, where it's like all nitty-gritty textures, or it could be Borderlands, where it's hand-painted textures with a cartoony outline. You know. Okay, also I'm gonna have to go through each and every level. And I'm going to have to... Oh man, okay. I'm gonna substitute this sprite actually with something else. I specifically drew the light prop, this one, 0, 1. I love this feature. I love the fact that you can just say, okay, I don't really like that light, so I'm gonna replace the sprite on it with this one. That is amazing. I posted a thing on the forum to to petition Yo-Yo to add the feature for adding to be able to select all of these, like basically edit the settings, like the frame and animation speed and rotation for all of the selected sprites instead of just doing one by one, because this is kind of a little bit time consuming. You know, if they've already given me an ability to actually tone down, you know, the brightness of the sprite via the editor, you might as well go all the way and save me a lot of trouble. Okay, so this is ambient level 2. Need to do this one. Oh yeah, and I gotta fix up the decals in this one. I'm gonna have to find a voice actress on Fiverr who could do some voiceovers for this game without charging an arm and a leg. Usually the starting talents are a little bit more lenient towards doing some low-paying gigs. Oof, man. There's so many games. Well, okay, not really so many games, but there's a good amount of games that I want to complete, because these are games that I started way back when I couldn't even like do game development, when I introduced myself to game development and I started learning it, and I came up with all these like overambitious game projects that were just completely outside of the scope for a single person, especially someone who has never made a game before. Oof. I've actually worked with voice actors, like multiple voice actors, like adult people, when I was still in high school. I was recording them with the promises of these games basically making it big. Or not even making it big, just these games at least being completed, right? Don't even, like, regardless of whether they made it big, just games of being completed, something they can put on a portfolio. But it was too early, you know, and like I couldn't convince myself, like, oh, you know, I could totally do this, you know, it's not doable. So I'm hoping that I can actually return to working on those games. This one actually belongs down here, doesn't it? And, you know, pay the people for their work. It's killing me because these are actually really good actors. Ah, boy. Okay, I think I fixed up these suckers. I can actually turn this thing on, can't I? Yeah, just to see if anything is out of whack here. Shit, I should do that. Go through these, go through all of these levels, see if there's any sprites being animated. Because if there are any that I missed, this will make it apparent. Seems like it's all clear. Yep. Yep. Nothing in here. Let me put on some music. How about Artag Islands soundtrack? There we go. Something ambient. So, Raptor, what are you thinking? What are you working on? What's the plan for tonight? I'm just killing time, man. I'm just stalling. Yeah, this one seems fine. I gotta edit the lights in this room. For this random TDS game. I wouldn't recommend to do just a random game. I mean, unless it's like how you truly are feeling. Pick anything. Pick anything that you find interesting. And just go with it. You know? You can always pop in for one of my live streams. I try to do these things on a daily basis. And ask questions there. Okay, so I kind of want to put in this thing and about a second. Nice. Man, that actually works. So this is O2. No, that's not O2. Yeah, that is O2. Okay. To open this one, copy the files. Then open this one, paste the files. There we go. So now this thing should actually break right at the beginning. There we go. Beautiful. Now this thing actually breaks right at the start of the level. I can actually close all of these and finally continue going with these levels. I need to put an elevator here. Below player. Lights. Usable objects. Closing elevator. There we go. And now, of course, I need to run this level and put in my lights. Okay. That breaking that breaking sequence is just funny. Okay, so this is level what? Level 19. Hey Gizmo, when you go for your first game, see if you can go for something with at least a small story. Because even if it's like a small game, the story really adds a whole other level of quality, so to speak, to it. I mean, even if it's just a bad, like, small story, not as thoroughly written, you know, you'll learn how to do text boxes or an alternative subtitle method, you know, something like this, just for the sake of learning that stuff. In fact, most of the time, if you learn how to do something from a tutorial, you'll usually learn a whole bunch of functions that are going to come in useful in other areas of programming your game. Normally when you want to start making a game, you probably want to put it on paper first. But considering, you know, this is really just learning experience. Ooh. You can probably get away with getting straight into programming. Nice. Oh, really? Right at the beginning. That trick saw, man. Oh! I want to know what's the next level, god damn it. I can do this. Oh. Running start. Really? Really? There we go. Oof. So many close calls on that one. Oh, yes. Ah, yes. It's the level where you have to jump over a spike while doing a back jump over a saw. Yep, yep. That is exactly what it is. Anyways, before I will move on, one last thing I need to check is to make sure that every single level has an elevator. Create a room, open all. Well, now there's a choice between coding and drag and drop. That would be better to start from. Start from coding right away. It sounds scary. It is really not. If you start with drag and drop, the drag and drop is extremely limiting when it comes to the way you think, how you make your game. Like, sometimes a block of 5 drag and drop nodes would essentially take one line of code to do, right? And none of the drag and drop stuff that you learn is usable in code. Like, the drag and drop is a frame of mind. It's not just the way you code your game. The coding in GameMaker Studio is, like, not at all complicated. Not at all. Like, there's, like, if you go full-on C++ or Python or Java, those are languages that get a bit complicated with the syntax and the functions and, you know, the way those languages are basically written. But with GMS, GameMaker Studio, or GML, GameMaker Studio language, it could not be simpler, to be honest. And it's so forgiving, too. Things like commas and semicolons, brackets, it's pretty forgiving in terms of you forgetting to, you know, put stuff inside of a bracket, unless it's like an equation that where certain things need to be calculated before other things, right? But that's like, when you get to that point, when you have to use those kinds of equations, you're going to be pretty damn fluent in GMS. And as I said, if anything, ask. We can just, you know, let you know where to look. Point you in the right direction. And there's a frickload of tutorials on YouTube on GameMaker. Like, more on... there's more tutorials on code than drag and drop. See, I kind of have to move these things around. And, yeah, like, there's some really brutally unforgiving languages out there. It's... it gets pretty tough. Like, I think the only other language that I know of that is more forgiving than GameMaker Studio language would probably be the basic language. Like, from the Dark Basic engine. The only one that really comes to my mind. I do want to learn C++ though, because I want to start making games in Unreal Engine using C++ instead of the blueprint stuff. So it's definitely something I kind of want to learn. Most of the tutorials right now are for GMS 1, not so much for GMS 2. It doesn't matter, because GMS 1 and GMS 2 use the same GML language. As I said, they're like if you watch a tutorial for GameMaker Studio 1, the code that goes there will 99% be compatible with GameMaker Studio 2. Like, the only things that I really know that have changed are, for example, things like for example, you need to get the coordinates of the view, which is, basically kind of camera coordinates. Instead of, it used to be view underscore x view, and you specify the which view you want to do. And it's basically the same as going down here and going into the viewports and, view 0. And there's your X position and Y position. And these are if you want to have them static. So instead of this, it has changed into essentially this. Instead of view underscore x view, it changed into, come on, it changed into this camera get view x, and then you specify which view's camera you want to use. And it returns the same shit, right? I just like to put a temporary variable right at the beginning of the script, like vx, vy, view width, and view heights, and I just store them because then I can just use these short 2-letter variables instead of this long thing, right? And if you substitute that, you're good. Same exact stuff. Like if you're gonna watch, let's say, like what can we watch? For recording for this, Game Maker Studio tutorial. Okay, so here we go. Pull up Game Maker Studio tutorial. Tile collisions, hard beasts tutorial. This is actually Studio 2 tutorial, so let's find one that's from Studio 1. Here's Game Maker Studio. So this is the example of where it would be a little bit different. Because with Game Maker Studio 1.4, the 3D functions have changed quite a bit. They still have the same logic to them, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to be going into 3D stuff in Game Maker Studio anytime soon either way, because this is more for like advanced users. Because Game Maker Studio is not really designed to be a true 3D game engine. It's capable of doing it, and you can get some really interesting things made in it, but there's engines like Unreal Engine and Unity that deal with a lot of stuff that you have to kind of do manually in Game Maker Studio. Like, for example, loading assets or loading loading 3D objects, right? Like there's an engine that I like to use called the App Game Kit, and I got this engine off of Humble Bundle for like $15. This is also a really capable engine. I'd say it's a couple of steps behind Game Maker Studio, but it's just as capable of making some very nice games. And it has some like also as you can see, cross-platform support. So just code it once and deploy it to multiple systems. It has VR. It has recently gotten live shadows and lighting support, which is really cool. And it works both on C++ and BASIC, right? But this one, if I'm going to make like a basic 3D game, I would probably use this engine. If I don't want to go like all out, fully like double A, I should say, or triple A style 3D stuff. Like if I want to make an old school looking game, right? I would probably go with this one, just because it has the functions for importing a 3D object, which is, you know, it does a lot of background stuff that you would otherwise have to code yourself in GameMaker Studio, and I've done that, so it's doable. It's not impossible. You know, platformer basics. So this is clearly Studio 1.4. Keyboard check. This function is present in GameMaker Studio 1.4. You know, scrolling through. Yep, ordinary keyboard check, VK right, same stuff. Same. This is very basic. These are just variables, right? They're not specific to an engine. These are just variables you make yourself. Custom variables. Same stuff. If statements. G. Of course it's going to be present. Place meeting. All of this stuff is present. Yep. All built-in variables. I mean, I'm already into like the 20-minute mark. And I can already see that everything I see here is in Studio 2. So, fret not. You have absolutely no issues with using the tutorials for 1.4. In 2. Anyways. Okay, this thing is not supposed to have an elevator. Elevator in, elevator out. Elevator in, yep. I do also need to kind of go through each one of those levels and just add the elevator shutdown thing. Reveltonation and Showtime Tilt. Showtime Tilt has been silently stalking me on Twitch chat. Oh man. Okay, so I really do need to actually add another type of a fade effect, and it would be the fade out with a bit of a glitch to it. Oh yeah. Oh no, it's everything is like, chances are everything you learned is usable in Studio. Like for the most part, just the camera stuff is one of the major things that's really changed. Okay, this is level 3. Save. This one's okay. Here we go. Alright, elevators, yes. I use Unity, so I have no idea what's going on. But I'm here for productivity. Yep. Just for the good company, basically. Ah, man. It gets lonely. So lonely. Oh, shit. Should restart my... Alright, so... So we'll do break, and we'll give it a good few seconds to fail. No, that's not a good few seconds. 8. Well, this is actually in steps. Yep, there we go. That little delayed. Should probably turn up the glow effect a little bit. In fact, I should also probably turn down the saturation of the surrounding lights. Have a little bit of a hue. In fact, I can have the trail. I just need it to be like this. Here we go. Let's go ahead and save this. This is level 05. What's with 04? Okay, so I've replaced the The order. Here we go. This level looks a little bit more plain. I should really make a separate sprite that's a bit more suited for this elevator though. This right now kind of stretches a bit too much. But then again, I don't have to stretch it. I really don't. There we go. So now, save this. All four. This is the kind of stuff I'd have to do either way. So considering that I don't really have a lot of energy to do some heavy game dev, I might as well go through all of this stuff and figure these things out. Sprites and I have a better relationship. Explain. Explain. Why do you and sprites have a bad relationship? Ooh. Today I realized I had one less packet of rockets in my backpack. What the fuck? This shit is like my cocaine. Oh no, one of them crumbled up. Ah, jeez. Okay, yeah, so this one's working just fine. This one's fine. That's 18. How about this one? 006. Man, there's a free game on Steam called the Doki Doki Literature Club. Fuck, man. That game fucks you up. It sounds all innocent. And it starts exactly like that. And holy shit. Like, it's as scary as a visual novel game can get. But it's where it lacks in, you know, full animation, it makes up for some pretty gruesome storytelling. So let's do a fade. Like this. This is 06. Oh man, so much. So many files. It's actually a pretty good game. Like, it's a really trippy game. It starts a bit slow. It starts a bit like any other visual novel game with like moe characters. Just, you know, it's a little bit slow, but oh, holy shit. And it has multiple endings too. Like, there's this really cool moment, like right around the ending, that really like screws with you. You actually like it actually engages with you. It's a really cool concept. And there's been a few games that tried the same thing. It's just, you know, I haven't played any of those other games. So experiencing that type of concept for the first time was pretty damn interesting. Okay, so that was 6. Now I need 8. I make games that involve a lot of running. My run animations usually come out pretty awkwardly, right? There's a book that I can recommend for that. 1 second. There's a book that I can recommend. It's called whatchamacallit? The Animator's Handbook. Or Animator's Survival Kit. Yep, here we go. This book. Ah, fuck. This book is pretty much all you need to get started with some proper looking animations. Okay. It's a good book. So, you know, Google knows its shit. This is 008. What's after 08? 09. Why, of course. I'm gonna go see if there's any more caramel popcorn left. I'ma be craving, man. Just enough. Huh, interesting. Alright. It's level 009. Reload. Okay. There's still kind of a bunch of stuff that I gotta add. But I can only add them after I've worked on the level or on the story and recording and putting in the voice actor work into the game. Okay. That was interesting. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, that's right. Gotta make sure my ground tile is cold the way it's called. Wowza. Oh, 10. Yeah. Alright, last one. Yep. Actually, come to think of it, this level also needs to have its elevator fail instead of just fade in or fade out. In fact, this whole level is actually kind of weird. Because level 10, this is a pretty... Okay, yeah, I gotta change something with this level, because the last 3 levels are supposed to be encompassed in smoke. now it's 11:22. I think this is the last level I'll edit, and then head off to sleep. So I kind of want to get up early tomorrow so that I have more time to work on these levels. Oh man, I just realized I can actually have all these lights slowly fail one after another permanently. That would actually be an interesting thing. Totally just realized. And it would be like a totally dynamic effect. Not just oh man, that's actually pretty cool. So this one will break, but this one is gonna break like that. Yeah, just like this. I need this to be a little bit longer actually. Like 50. It's pretty cool. Alright, here we go. And that is pretty much it. All that's left is to work on these levels here. Not even all of them. I've finished most of them. Yeah, just we'll open up one of them, or one by one. So I got this one's done. This one is done. This one's done. This one's not done. This one is done. Damn, man. So 13, 16, 20 sounds like it's... No, oh, never mind. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And then it's just the ambient levels. Let me actually go through this ambient level once. There's probably a bunch of stuff I gotta add there still. Yep, my own music. That's like the best part. I started with music, with music composing before I got into game development. So yeah, and it's not like I started with electronic pop music. I've actually started with writing ambient and score composing music. So music is the one thing I'm actually really looking forward to in this game. There's a tile in this level that I kind of need to fix. Every goddamn time I forget about that bit. Ah, jeez. No, actually, I'm using Cubase for score composing and pretty much electronic music composing as well. To be honest, I got into Cubase because my favorite composer uses Cubase. It's like the weirdest, most just asinine reason to get into using a specific piece of software. But I started music 9 years ago, so 9 years ago that reason kind of makes sense to me. Like, if I use this piece of software, I'll be as good as this composer. You know. All that jazz. But I, oh, for fuck's sakes. But, I went from Ableton to I went from FL Studio to Ableton to Reason, and finally landed on Cubase. Just it kind of made sense to me. It had a very classic and straightforward layout. Okay, don't. No. So yeah, just I do use Ableton for live stuff. I want to get into live performing, and Ableton just kind of makes sense, sort of. But I'm not like exclusive to one piece of software. Well, I don't pick favorites. I do have an album that I did publish an album, my first, so to speak, officially published album. It was in the beginning of this year. It's on Spotify, iTunes, you know, yada yada yada. Mostly electronic dance music, you know, kind of stuff I like to listen to. Swear to God, these levels are pretty big, so thankfully I changed to the automatic collision tile generation system. so no delay. Just I do have SoundCloud, but I don't have any of my officially published stuff on SoundCloud, considering it's kind of redundant, right? Here.
So how do you know?
Well, that's a podcast I wanted to listen to. Okay, Pure Mayhem, Decimal, Spotify. Here we go. Or you can search up Pure Mayhem Decimal. Alright, well that's pretty much it. I think this is as much as I can actually spare in terms of energy today. No, my rocket. The last one. Oh yeah. Whew. Alright, well, I think that is it. I'm gonna call it a night, and I'll do another live stream tomorrow. Gonna get lots of stuff done, man. Until next time, see ya.